If you'd like a premium badged, mid-sized sports estate that's just that little bit different, Genesis would like you to consider this G70 Shooting Brake. It's beautifully built, surprisingly sporty, good to look at, and very nice to ride in. And there's a class-leading customer service promise. Interested yet? To succeed, Korean maker Genesis has to create premium products that are just that little bit different. Well, this is different, a bit anyway, the G70 Shooting Brake. Now, shooting brake is a term the industry occasionally uses for a sportily styled estate, usually mid-sized, like this one. There's only one other similarly badged car on the market, the Volkswagen Arteon Shooting Brake, which will probably be seen as this Korean car's closest competitor. This more versatile G70 body style is a newer design than the G70 Saloon, and unlike that sedan, this estate variant has been engineered exclusively for the European market, the only place where it will be sold. That's allowed the Genesis brand's German-based engineers to create a ride and handling balance much better suited to the preferences of our continent. Sounds promising. Other Genesis models for Europe aren't much changed from those that must plough the billiard-smooth highways of the Middle East or the Americas. But this one has suspension and steering bespoke designed for European roads. You'll have to pay more if you want all the tools developed at the Nürburgring to make it perform like a proper fast German brand premium sports estate. Stuff like a limited slip differential, uprated Brembo brakes, a sports exhaust and sticky Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres. But if you can stretch to a variant with all these things, you'll find it a surprisingly enjoyable steer. The engine range at present is quite restricted and surprisingly ignores all of the hybrid powertrain tech that Genesis had access to through the Hyundai Motor Group. An EV version may be along shortly, but to start with there are just two very conventional four-cylinder units, a 2.2 litre diesel with 197 brake horsepower, that's what we've got here, and a 2 litre petrol variant with either 194 bhp or 241 bhp. The latter develops a sub 6.5 second 0 to 62 mph sprint time. All must use the usual Genesis 8-speed auto gearbox. The whole confection is based on the underpinnings of the Kia Stinger, but unfortunately our market doesn't get that car's potent 3.3 litre V6 turbo petrol unit. In its own way, the G70 Shooting Brake is quite a striking looking thing, with European styling touches, sweeping C-pillars, a floating rear spoiler and a neat set of split tail lights. There's also a large G-matrix grille and the kind of low-line bonnet you usually get with the longitudinal engine and rear-wheel drive format that this car employs. As the name suggests, what's on offer here is part hatch and part estate, with a dash of coupe thrown in. As with all current Genesis models, the cabin's quite appealing too. You get rich materials, the expected big centre screen, and with the optional innovation pack, clever stereoscopic 3D digital instruments on a 12.3-inch display that offers rear camera images when you indicate left or right. The same pack also gives you a head-up display. The seats are broad and comfortable. The rear part of the cabin could do with a bit more legroom. But the 465 litre boot is decently shaped, and when the rear bench is folded, extends to 1,565 litres. That's 55 litres more than you get in a BMW 3 Series Touring, and 135 litres more than the G70 Saloon. Think in terms of a premium of around £1,800 over the G70 Saloon. Shooting Brake prices start at just over £35,000 for the 2-litre petrol version, or from around £38,000 for the 2.2 litre diesel we have here. That's at the time of filming in spring 2023. Now there are 3 trim levels: premium, luxury, and for £1,600 more, sport. That's around £4,000 more. Now these prices are comparable with the entry-level figures for cars like Audi's A4 Avant, BMW's 3 Series Touring, or the Mercedes C-Class Estate. But with those models, you'll need to spend a lot more to get a comparable level of equipment to that fitted with this G70 Shooting Brake. Just about everything you can imagine is fitted as standard. Genesis doesn't have a network of UK dealerships. Instead, everything is done via so-called Genesis Studios, which will be shop fronts in upmarket shopping centres. One has already been opened in London and others will follow. But you don't have to go to one of those. You simply connect with Genesis online, and then you'll be allocated your own Genesis personal assistant, who'll take you through the sales process from test drive to delivery, and they'll deal with aftercare as well. This assistant won't be salaried on commission as an ordinary car salesperson would be, so you won't get any hard sell. In 2.2 litre diesel form, this G70 Shooting Brake is reasonably economic, quoted at 40.7 to 41.8 mpg on the combined cycle, with a CO2 best of 175 grams per kilometre. With a 2 litre petrol engine, those readings fall to 31.6 to 33.1 mpg, with a CO2 best of 193 grams per kilometre. Insurance is rated at either 32A to 39A for the petrol and 37A to 38A for the diesel. Every Genesis is covered by a 5-year care plan, which includes scheduled servicing for 5 years or 50,000 miles. With each service visit, Genesis will collect and return the car to your door. This also applies to any necessary work required, including warranty work. You simply contact your Genesis personal assistant to make it happen, who can also arrange a courtesy car. The 5-year care plan also includes updates to in-car navigational maps. And there's complimentary subscription to Genesis Connected Services, which will allow you to access information services from your phone to digitally enhance your ownership experience. Genesis is shooting for the stars in this segment with this estate. The stars in question primarily being the BMW 3 Series Touring, the Audi A4 Avant and the Mercedes C-Class Estate. To be frank, more realistic targets in this class lie with models like the Volvo V60 and the Volkswagen Arteon Shooting Brake. Maybe also, if you're being a little more left field, the Peugeot 508 SW. All these models are pretty desirable, but for a small select group of potential customers in this class, this G70 Shooting Brake might prove to be more desirable still. It looks good, handles well, and is beautifully finished inside. An equally big draw will be the class-leading level of customer service backup and relatively affordable prices. In the demerit column lies not particularly stellar levels of efficiency from the 2 conventional engines. To succeed, Genesis needs to produce more slightly quirky cars like this. We think the right kind of buyer might quite enjoy this one.